What's up, everybody? So the next sign we're going to go through is Scorpio. And if you've watched my other videos about Scorpio, like a Scorpio moon, you know it's an intense sign. So what follows is pretty intense. Scorpio is a water sign, and so like water is associated with feeling. And this one is no different. So we have Scorpio associated with feeling and intuition. And so like it guides itself through life based on its feelings and its intuition. And one question it continually asks itself, Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto, and Pluto was the god of death in Roman mythology, Hades in Greek mythology. One question it continually asks itself is about death. And it's, if today was my last day on earth, what would I do? What would I want to do? And this is something we've all asked ourselves, whether we were sober or not is, another question. But like we've asked ourselves this at various times in life, in various circumstances where it's like, what would I do on my last day on earth? Or if I had 6 months to live, or if I had a timeline to live, what would I do each and every day? And so like that's the question that Scorpio starts to ask is, what means something to me? It tries to get to the truth, and this is why it can be a very unsettling sign, is because like it wants to pierce into like past all the pretense and get right down to it and say like, okay, what means something to me? What do I want to do? And by doing this, like you're following your intuition and your feeling. It's not so much like you're thinking it out. You are going off of instinct. You are going off of feeling and saying like, okay, I want to talk to that person over there, whether it's a girl or a boy or whatever. And you have to go for it. Like you have all these feelings bubbling up, but like you have to go for it if that's what you want to do. So wherever Scorpio is in the chart, it is telling you to go for something. It is telling you to be present here and now and really ask yourself what it is you want to do. And especially if you have planets here, it becomes really important. And I hate to break it to all the millennials out there, but we all have Pluto in Scorpio. Every generation has Pluto in a sign. We just so happen to have it in its home sign, which is good. But as a generation, it demands us to ask ourselves continuously, what do I want to do? And that may be like a question that starts to create some rubbing. But it's something we have to answer like as a generation to like move forward, and especially as individuals. So this can get intense though, because if you continually ask yourself like, how am I gonna live my last day? If it was my last day, like what am I gonna do? Like you could get kind of reckless with it, right? Like, so you wanna temper this with like what the other signs teach, which is, okay, life is long, you need to be patient with things. But like if it's not harming anybody, go for it. Like if you have Scorpio in a house that, or in a sign, or in a planet is in Scorpio, or in a house that really promotes art, create art. Go for it today. Don't wait, and let your feeling and your intuition guide you. It's not so much your logic of like, well, I have to do this and I have to do this. No. That's more obligation speaking. It's more so like, what do I feel and what am I sensing right now? And you go for it. And so like that starts to really like hone in on a specific element that you want to really make the most out of every day. It doesn't have to be the whole, it shouldn't be the whole chart. You will go insane. Like thinking that you're going to die, every day, and that you have to do everything in one day. That gets really intense and really extreme, and we don't necessarily want to do that. One thing a Scorpio energy can do is like you can take the strong emotions it has and create something out of it, create art, channel it into something. This is also a very psychic area of the chart. So like Scorpio and the other water signs have an ability to be very psychic. So like meditation is good in this area, and also like just kind of tuning in and really quieting and calming yourself down to hear the messages and to like sense the feelings that are going on inside of you. One thing you want to avoid with Scorpio is like, this can get intense. So like, you don't want to repress anything. And what can happen is because there's so much coming in or at you, or you're feeling so much, you push it all down. And it becomes this pressure cooker where, you know, we can have a lot of trauma in this area too. So like any trauma gets pushed down, pushed down, pushed down, and then it starts to like bubble and bubble and bubble, and then it explodes. And so like we have this explosion or this implosion inside of us, and we don't know how to handle it. And you can get really aggressive and mean and like nasty. And so you want to avoid that. But with, and in this area, like there's a lot of dark emotion. Like, you know, just think of the underworld. It's not a happy place. So like there's anger, there's resentment, there's guilt, there's shame, like all these things, and like we repress them. And the key is to like transform these emotions into something good, that we transform our anger, or we let it go, we like let it channel through us in some sort of way, or we transform our guilt, or we transform, you know, these dark things that we're feeling, instead of like letting them rule us. Because what happens is like they start as little seeds, and then they just grow and grow and grow and twist and twist and twist, and then, you know, we're left with not feeling very good on the inside. So it's important to like transform this, and you can do it through art. It depends on the planets that are here, and also like where Scorpio is in your chart. But you want to take like this idea of, you know, what do I want to do today? Like, what do I want to do today, specifically like here, and do it, you know, go for it. But like, you know, honor your emotions as you're going through the journey as well, because you may feel anger, you may feel resentment, you may feel guilt, and like you have to stop and check yourself and just understand like what those mean. If you know this part of the chart also, if there's a lot of trauma, this would be good to go to therapy with, because, you know, Scorpio is the sign of psychology. So like if you're really struggling, especially in like this specific area, therapy may help, because it can get pretty intense here with like all the emotions and traumas and everything. But really what Scorpio wants you to do at the end of the day is realize, like, you know, we're all gonna die, but like make the most out of life. Make the most out of what you're doing here. Okay, next sign is gonna be Sagittarius, little more, way more upbeat, but you know, all the signs are good in one way or another. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.